In a city that feasts on political theater, it was high drama just past high noon, as President Obama told the world he had pulled back from the brink of a military strike against Syria.
I will seek authorization for the use of force from the American people's representatives in Congress.
Aides to the president say Mr. Obama decided to go in a different direction at almost the last minute. At approximately 6 p.m. Friday, the president made the stunning change in plans to seek congressional authorization and then went for a walk. A 45-minute walk, in fact, with his chief of staff, Dennis McDonough. At approximately 7 p.m., the president announced his decision to his national security staff, sparking a heated debate. He then started to spread the word, calling Vice President Biden, Secretary of State John Kerry, and Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel. Saturday morning, Mr. Obama convened a principals meeting with top national security and intelligence officials to finalize the decision.
The question is, what are we collectively, what are we in the world going to do about it?
Just hours before the president's abrupt move, Secretary Kerry had made a passionate case for urgent action.
Instead of being tucked safely in their beds at home, we saw rows of children lying side by side, sprawled on a hospital floor, all of them dead from Assad's gas.
But aides say what Kerry and the rest of the president's team did not know is that Mr. Obama had been privately kicking around the idea of seeking approval from Congress for days. As Kerry was turning up the heat, the president seemed to be turning it down.
I am very clear that the world generally is war weary. Certainly the United States it has gone through over a decade of war. The American people understandably want us to be focused on the business of rebuilding our economy here and putting people back to work. And I assure you, nobody ends up being more war-weary than me.
As it turns out, administration officials say the president was listening to members of Congress who wanted in on the process.
Well, I think it's incumbent to always obey the Constitution. The rule of law is something our country's founded on, and I would ask Congress to come together.
The 64 members of us who signed our letter want to make sure Congress is called back in session, debate the issues, the facts, and then vote on whether or not we should engage militarily.
So on Saturday, the president got back on the phone, calling House Speaker John Boehner and other congressional leaders.
Here's my question for every member of Congress and every member of the global community. What message will we send if a dictator can gas hundreds of children to death in plain sight and pay no price?
Just minutes later, the president departed the White House with Biden to play a round of golf, leaving administration officials scrambling to show a united front. Despite that fierce discussion inside the West Wing, aides say, the president's team is now fully on board. As for the defense secretary, one senior U.S. official said, as a former senator whose views on the limits of war are well known, it's not hard for Chuck Hagel to agree with the president. Another official said of Kerry, no concerns. He was in the Senate for 29 years and has made consultation with Congress a huge priority since he became Secretary of State. The debate that counts is the one to come in Congress, where lawmakers from both parties still have questions.
In my view, U.S. military force is justified only to protect the vital national security interest of the United States. And to date, the administration has not focused on those interests.
I don't see where America is threatened. I don't see where our national security is threatened. And perhaps between now and the time we get back on September the 9th, the president will have information that would allow the Congress to effectively see where this danger is.
Administration officials say the president still reserves the right to take military action. As one top official put it, the commander-in-chief still has the authority to act, even if Congress says no. Jim Acosta, CNN, the White House.